What's good, everybody? It's your boy Saint Deadeye. I'm joined once again by my friend Danny, and we have got something special for you today. Not exactly ordnance overview, but kind of an overview of the history of United States ordnance. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a 1903 Springfield bolt-action rifle. I've been looking for one. They're very expensive when you find a legitimate one. Oh God, people are asking anywhere from like $1,200 to $2,500 for them, depending on the condition that they're in. Yeah, and that was before
all of this stuff.
all this inflation from the pandemic and everything. So we're gonna start with, I won't say the next best thing because it is the best thing. And this is my prized possession. I have been waiting to show this off, and I could not wait any longer. We're going to start in World War II with my Springfield M1 Garand.
Lucky bastard.
Yes, you could consider me lucky, but I hunted this thing down.
Yes,
I
you
really
did.
So,
Yes, you did.
So this was the United States' primary weapon in World War II, and in the Korean War. In the Korean War, there were also a lot of its little brother, the M1 carbine, and its sibling, the M2 carbine, which was a fully automatic version of the M1 carbine. But this was really our primary boomstick for a very long time, and it served us quite well. Fires the 30-06 Springfield cartridge from one of these. Now, this is not a magazine. This is a clip. This is called an N-block clip.
Yes.
The magazine is fixed inside the rifle. And should I give him the ping?
Yes, you should.
Should I give him the ping? All right.
Yes, you should.
So, basically, this, I guess, is kind of a demonstration. Try not to flag your face.
No, you're good. You would hit me before you flagged me.
Yeah. So, you want to make sure it's all the way back. Lock it all the way back, because it will stop on the follower in the empty magazine, and that's how you get yourself a case of M1 thumb. You press down on the follower, it'll snap your thumb shut in the action. We don't want to do that, because I've seen somebody do it with a carrot, and it sheared the carrot clean in half. Yeah, I'm not about to do that. So what we're going to do is insert this empty on-block clip, because we're not playing with loaded magazines here on set. But I want to give you the ping. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to press that follower down and put the bolt forward right over top of it. Y'all ready for this? That is beautiful.
Wonderful.
That is so
Wonderful.
beautiful.
The greatest thing.
So, from the M1 Garand, or Garand if you want to pronounce his name properly in Canadian. That's the ironic thing about this beautiful weapon, the weapon that George S. Patton once called the greatest battle implement ever devised, was devised, in fact, by a Canadian.
Sounds about right.
But it ended up being the workhorse for the good old US of A, our lovely home here, and one of the very few places left on Earth where you're even allowed to have a spread like this.
Yep.
So, thank God I was born an American. I think about that sometimes. I think about, like, me, my consciousness. I could have been born in, like,
Anywhere else.
England. Alright, so from the M1 Garand, we move on to the M14. Now, I don't have an actual M14, but what I do have is a Ruger Mini 14 in 5.56. The original M14 was as big as the Garand, and it looked pretty similar to this, but basically what it was a Garand that had a detachable box magazine and was capable of fully automatic fire. And so it went into trials against the AR-10, which we'll get to in a second.
If you want a modern day version of an M14, what you want to really look at is an M1 carbine.
Or the M1A.
M1A.
Yeah, M1A, yeah. Springfield M1A is the closest approximation to an actual M14 that is available for civilians unless you have an SOT or a tax stamp to own a fully automatic weapon. Then you can get a legitimate M14. But for now, we're stuck with the Springfield M1A, which is an alright gun. Yeah. I've heard complaints about them. And I've heard a lot of complaints about the Ruger Mini 14 as well. And I've experienced one of them. And that is that this isn't really a marksman's gun. This one's chambered in 5.56. Now, an actual M14 would have been chambered in 308 or 7.62 by 51 NATO, which is fired by our big buddy here, AR-10. But this Ruger Mini 14 is chambered in 5.56. It's got 30-round detachable box magazines. Same action as the M1, except much, much smaller. But yeah, that's when I actually get a real M14 or an M1A, we'll do a video about that. But this is what I got for now. So it's going to take the M14's place in the lineup here. But yeah, speaking of the, I didn't finish talking about the marksmanship issue with these Mini 14s. I would say past 50 yards, it's not even sub MOA. Like there's something about the barrels in these Mini 14s that they're fun to shoot. They're very fun to shoot. I'm not taking that away from it. And it'll put the round where you aim it at 50 yards, maybe 60. But you start stretching out past that, you're getting off to the right, off to the left. It's called the ranch rifle for a reason. This is something that you're supposed to carry around on your tractor or your ATV or riding on horseback even and pop coyotes on your farm with. Right. You know, or the groundhogs that are eating your crops or whatever farm problems you might have. I'm not a farmer. I don't know. I might be completely wrong. But yeah, it's definitely not meant to be a marksman's rifle or even a battle rifle for that purpose. But I have one because they're friggin' cool. And I've always wanted one. So they're a good backup for an AR-15. They're not going to be as accurate, but if your AR-15's at the shop, then you keep your Ruger Mini 14 on standby. Right. Then we move on to the AR-10. And this is where we get into our Armalite rifle platforms. The AR-10, the original one, would have looked a lot like this M16 that we have here, but we'll get to this in a minute. It would have looked a lot like that, but it would fire the 308 cartridge from a big old beefy 20-round box magazine. The furniture would look a little bit different. You know, but so basically here's your... This is what really started the Armalite platform. The AR-10 was the first gun that Eugene Stoner invented and was produced by Armalite. They were adopted by a couple other militaries in the world, but not ours. It lost the trial to the M14 because the M14 was a few ounces lighter, and apparently the action, being similar to the Garand, was more familiar to the troops. So the U.S. Army chose the M14 over the AR-10, and the poor AR-10 never saw U.S. military service. So, but what the AR-10 did give rise to is easily the most iconic gun to ever come out of the United States of America, the M16. Now this is not an actual M16.
We wish.
I wish. Once again, we're getting into that if I had a tax stamp for full autos territory. But this is just a regular semi-automatic AR-15 that I have used retro parts to mock up to look like the early Vietnam era M16. There is no forward assist. It's slick side, 20 round Stanag box magazines. Got your carry handle. That's easily one of my favorite parts about this gun. But it got to the point where the M14, we went into Vietnam with the M14, and it was not performing well in the jungle.
No.
Jammed up a lot. The wooden stocks warped in the humidity. So
I'll be honest, the M16 jammed up a lot. Too.
Yeah, it did, but we'll get to that in a second.
All right.
There's a caveat to that. So what did the United States government do? Come crawling back to Eugene Stoner on their hands and knees and said, please make us that beautiful Armalite rifle that you showed us before that we so stupidly chose the M14 over, because our guys are getting slaughtered out there because their rifles are jamming up and not working. So, but what they wanted was a smaller, more capable cartridge, not only allowing the troops to carry more ammunition, but allowing for greater penetration and greater speed. So, along with the M16, we developed America's favorite freedom seed, the 5.56 millimeter NATO round,
I believe
or
back at that time,
223 as we know it here in the States.
Yeah.
And that's what the M16 was chambered in. Yeah. I just recently finished putting this gun together, so I've been waiting to show it off too. Its maiden voyage is coming up at the range very soon, probably like next week. Yeah, I'm proud of this thing. It's most of the, I think the thing that I'm most proud of about owning this is the fact that you can buy them looking like this, like coming out of the box looking like the original M16, but you're looking at paying anywhere from $1,200 or $1,300 to $2,500, $2,600 depending on the brand you choose. I know the actual Colt ones are very, very expensive. I managed to put this thing together for under $1,100. I bargain hunted a lot of the parts. I put it together myself. I didn't involve a gunsmith except for to check and make sure I did it properly so it doesn't blow up in my face. But yeah, I'm rather proud of that one. So, from the M16 served our military for a very long time. It went through. Service. It's still in service. Yeah, exactly. It lives on today as the M16A4.
Right.
So we went through M16A1. That was by the end of Vietnam. They had the forward assist on that. Was the main feature that the A1 brought to the table. Then the A2 came with more adjustable, like precision sights on it. Then the A3 was, the Scarface M16 with the grenade launcher on it. And now, I believe to this day, the United States Marine Corps makes heavy use of the M16A4, which is the most modernized version of the platform.
Partially. I'm pretty sure most of them are on to the next weapon on our list.
Oh, yeah. Most of our military armed service is on to the next weapon on our list, which, once again, in my case, is in reality just an AR-15, but I have put myself together an M4 carbine. Now, this is the M16's little brother. There's really not a lot to say about this gun that hasn't already been said. It's still in service with our military today, and across the United States, civilians from all walks of life make use of the AR-15. It is the most popular gun. But I've got this one set up with a quad rail handguard here, to which I have attached flip-up iron sights in case my optic fails here. it is an electronic optic, so God only knows what could happen to it. I would hope that it's less easy to break than an iPhone.
You would hope.
I would hope, but you know, these things are meant to take some abuse. I've got a technical 16-inch barrel, which makes this a full-length rifle and not subject to any ATF infringement. But what it really is a 14.5-inch barrel with a 1.5-inch birdcage flash hider pinned and welded, which qualifies it as legal barrel length.
Right.
So, in total, the barrel is 16 inches. I run these 30-round P-mags with the window in them so you can see how much you got left. I got a custom charging handle on here. Ambidextrous. As you can just see, I just pulled it from the right side of the gun. Magpul stock with a little bit of customization there. You know it. Don't tread on me. So, yeah. This is another one of my babies. But speaking of the civilian market for AR-15s, which brings us to our last gun in the lineup. This is Danny's gun. This is a Springfield Saint. What model of Saint is this? Like, what number are they up to now? Because this is the brand new one, isn't it?
Yeah.
So this is the 2020.
Yeah, this is brand new 2021.
2021?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I did not get this that long ago, and this is the B5 model, which there's the Saint Victor, which is like their competition styled AR, ones with free float barrels. But for the regular Saints, this is the B5 or Bravo 5, which is the top of the line regular Saint you can get. Comes with a B5 stock, B5 hand grip, B5 trigger guard, and B5 front handguard
Yeah.
with steel heat shields inside.
Yeah.
And I put on a SIG sight and a angled foregrip.
Yeah. So this is one of the more, I'll say, pricey options that you will find on the civilian market. This is just as customizable. You see, like, the handguard here has all these M-LOK slots on it, to which Danny has added this angled foregrip underneath of his handguard here. He's got the traditional front sight gas block. Woo! You have a bayonet lug.
Yes.
Ooh, fun times. Not really, I'm not a psycho.
I might be.
Okay, maybe I should just yeah, so to complement that though, he's got the flip up rear sight, and when that flips up, you'll be able to get a witness through the electronic optics should it fail. So this is a really good example of what you'll see civilians in the United States using nowadays. When they go to the gun shop and they want to pick up an AR-15, they go for stuff like this. It is very, very light. I could probably shoot this with one hand if I wanted to be reckless, or if I had to.
Yeah.
If I was ever in a situation where my other hand was not free or I was injured or something like that, I could very easily shoulder this and fire it with one hand. So this would be really, honestly, just the overall length of it. I think this is like the bare minimum you have to be for it to be considered a full-length rifle according to the ATF.
Official 16-inch barrel.
Yeah.
Unlike
It is
yours,
an
which
actual 16-inch barrel with a 1-inch flash hider bird cage on there, as opposed to my, skirt around the around being a problem. Yeah. I'm not going to say I skirt around the law because it is legal. Having that bird cage pinned and welded on there does make it legal barrel length, but you know, technicalities, folks. But yeah.
And that wasn't too pricey either. I got that either in the middle of or right at the beginning of everything that's going on, and it was $1,050.
Yeah. So I mean, and then normally, without the inflation and everything that was going on because of the pandemic, these things would probably be in the $800 to $900 range.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
model, yeah.
This model. So mine, man, I have no idea how much I've sunk into this thing already because I've got dagger defense and Magpul accessories all over it. There's probably $200 in just accessories on this thing. Notwithstanding the optic, this thing was like $150 in itself, which I got a good deal on that. I found a coupon on one of those websites that gives you shopping coupons for online shopping.
Nice.
But it started out as a very cheap budget AR. It started out as an Anderson AM15 and ended up as a straight up Call of Duty looking M4 carbine. So I'm glad that we're allowed to have these things in the United States. So, but yeah, that's the lineage of, or I guess my version currently of the lineage of American military firearms. And we've stretched into the civilian market. We've gone all the way back to World War II. Hopefully one of these days I'll be able to do this video over and stretch back to World War I and then maybe the Civil War. I don't know. I'm not really a muzzle loader kind of guy, but the Sharps carbine, the breech loading carbine, I would like to have one of those. Or maybe I'll get like a Springfield trapdoor,
Yeah.
4570, you know, and that'll take us at least back to the Spanish-American War.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so that's it for now. Just a neat little video since Danny's here and he brought his guns and we're working on them and planning on going to the range. So, figured I'd take the opportunity while he was here to lay out what we got and just have a fun little video. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. And there will be separate ordnance overviews videos for each of these guns eventually. Like I said, this YouTube thing's casual for me. I do it when I get around to it, you know. So, but yeah. God, I love this thing so much. I'm so proud of this M1. I've wanted one since I was like 16 years old. And now at almost 30, I finally have one. So I can't wait to get out and shoot this thing. That's another thing. I got to find ammo for it.
Yeah,
It's,
good luck. I still can't find 30-06 anywhere.
Yeah, and there's plenty of like commercial 30-06 out there, but you have to use M2 ball or a load that is similar to military M2 ball in the Garand, or you could damage the operating rod. So I'm having a hard time finding Garand safe ammunition.
Yeah.
But when I do, oh boy, when I do, we are going to have ourselves a fucking day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we are. So that about wraps it up. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. And I'll see you guys next time. For Danny, the Saint Deadeye. Peace out, y'all.